Hey everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. So the two sets that I used for this project is So This Is Love and The Snuggle Is Real, which totally spoke to me, obviously, with all those cute girls and dogs. And because I love this set so much, I'm doing a giveaway. And all you have to do to be entered for the giveaway is be a visible subscriber, like this video, and comment on a 2021 crafty goal of yours. I'll be picking a winner from these comments in a week's time. So this is what I did with these two images. I took the boy from one image and the dog from the other image so that I could create a new image of something that represented Mr. CraftyPaws holding our sweet little bandito. So I'm coloring up the little boy, all his skin with E50, E51, and giving him slightly rosy cheeks with an R30. And I'm blending out the kind of splotchiness with the E50. I'm giving him brown hair like Mr. CraftyPaws has. Start with an E55, just kind of flicking. This is a very small space, and I wanted to give him dark hair like Mr. CraftyPaws. So I think I probably should have left a little bit more highlighted, but you know, at the end of the day, the portrait of the family as a whole, I think kind of hides any imperfections, as it were, or at least you don't focus on them. So then I'm coloring up this cute little dog like my bandito. And I'm using a W0 for his white areas and then an E11 for the light brown areas. It kind of has a apricot-y, light brown, reddish brown. And then I wanted a little bit more shadowed areas, so I'm coloring that in with an E13. And just blending out where the two colors meet a little bit. He has mostly white with just a few spots of brown. And then I decided for the little boy, I'm going to give him basically dark blue and light blue clothes because that's a lot of what Mr. CraftyPaws wears. And here you see I kind of doodled in a little short sleeve because I realized the image kind of looks like he's wearing a tank top, and Mr. CraftyPaws would never wear a tank top, but he would wear a vest with a shirt underneath. So that's the way I'm altering this image. Coloring up the shirt or the vest in the light blue colors, and then I'm giving him a baseball cap in kind of a more mid-tone or darker blue colors because Mr. CraftyPaws dresses really simply, and I thought this would represent him pretty well. I want to make sure that the edges and underneath the cap brim are a little bit darker. The shorts, I wanted to repeat that same blue color and also repeat that color in that little shirt underneath that vest. See how easy it is to alter an image so that it kind of represents more of what you want. I also gave him little shoes and colored that simply with a C6 just to give him some shoes because I don't think Mr. CraftyPaws usually is barefooted unless it's in the summer at the beach or something. And I fussy cut both of those images out, edged them all with Memento Tuxedo black ink, and then put the images together, kind of cut around the arm to tuck that little puppy in. The next two images I used was the puppy on the left and the little girl with the glasses on the right. And that's to represent me holding our Babaloo. And since that little dog had a bow on her head, I am masking that off and taking off that mask, that's just a piece of washi tape, and stamping out that image that way so that there's no bow, and I can give the puppy more of kind of like a top knot, like my Babaloo has. So I'm just doodling that on. And all of this doodling is with Copic multi-liner pens. And I did the same with this image. I kind of just blocked out with the washi tape the bulldog that was there because obviously the bulldog doesn't look anything like my Babaloo. And I'm just doodling on the little girl's skirt the way I think it would be. And I decided instead of a simple dress, I'm going to make this into a skirt, but I'm giving her little legs, some little shoes, really simply, which is a great thing about greeting farm images. The images themselves are really easy to kind of copy or doodle away. So here I'm changing this puppy. I'm basically keeping it the same, and the white areas I'm coloring with a W0, but I'm shortening the ears here, as you can see, with that Copic multi-liner pen. And now I'm coloring up the ears kind of with a dark, warm gray. That's a W5, I believe. And then I wanted to go a little bit darker, so I'm using a W7 because his ears are mostly black. He has some black spots as well and some black spots on his legs. So I'm kind of just dotting those little spots around. He has slightly darker on his left eye and around his muzzle on that side. So I'm using that W3 to get it a little bit darker, give his tail a little bit of color as well. And then we thought I went a little bit dark. So off camera, I use a 0 colorless blender and I lighten that up. I'm also giving the ears a little bit more fluff because Babaloo has really fluffy ears. And I've fussy cut all of that, shortened the tail a little bit too with my Fiskars spring-loaded scissors. Now for the little girl with the glasses, I'm coloring up her skin with an E50 and 51. It bled a little bit where I had used a Copic multiliner pen around the glasses, so I used a 0 colorless blender to push that back. For her cheeks, I gave her rosy cheeks with an R30, and I'm just trying to blend out that little mark. And you'll see later on, once the ink dries, that that really pretty much disappears. I'm coloring up the bone with the blue, and I'm also using this blue to give the highlights in the black hair, which is how I hope my hair looks, shiny. My hair's not so wavy, but you know, when it's really unruly or, you know, when I've got bedhead, it can look like this. So I'm just taking the valley areas of the hair and starting to color in, give it a little bit of depth with that C3. Then I'm adding some more flicks and some shadowed areas with the C5. And again, I'm just trying to use some flicking motions here to give the sense of hair texture. And then I'm going back in around the face, underneath the arms, those areas in particular, I'm going darker, but I want to make sure that I try to flick in the motion in the direction that the hair is kind of curving. And then lastly, I'm using a C7 to add the deepest shadows of the hair and really give her hair a shine. You know, some people are surprised when I use blue with these dark, cool gray colors to color in black hair, but I really think at the end, it comes out looking like the blue comes out looking like a natural shine, not like crazy blue hair dye. But even if it was crazy blue hair dye, that's one of my favorite looks, at least on other people. It was when I was younger for myself. And I'm just adding some more flicking and blending in the highlighted areas with the darker saturated areas, going back in, just adding that hair texture for all of those kind of waves in her hair. Then I use a Uniball Signo white gel pen to add some flicks over her glasses to give that sense of the glasses having that glare. And then for her little top or sweater vest, I'm coloring that up with 2 colors of yellow. And I decided I was going to color her skirt separately and also her collar with some greens. I really like this emerald green that has been popular recently, and I decided to give her a little bit of green on the accents and her cuffs too. So now it's more of like a full dress, and I'm putting those 2 images together, the little Babaloo and the image that represents me. And then to frame that little family portrait, I'm using an old Diamond Dyes Jetador heart frame die, and it's a little bit persnickety because there's so many little fine details to this die, but you just have to be patient and pull the parts apart. And the paper pad I'm using is one of my favorites that I hoarded for years. It's a Doodlebug Designs Puppy Love, and I actually don't use puppy paper, really, pattern paper. I use this heart and this polka dot, which is the reverse side of that heart. And I'm just cutting a strip and backing it with white cardstock so that I can add some interest to this background. And I'm following the rule of thirds. So I'm just marking there where it would meet the top of the red background paper. And I'm cutting off the excess there. And I'm going to add that to the left third of the card front, so that it adds some interest and some relief from all of that red on red. And then I'm going to use some wet glue. This is my favorite, art glitter glue with a fine tip nozzle, and glue that on the top kind of half or 2/3 of the card. And I've got some double-sided foam adhesive dots behind the little boy and Bandito, and behind the little girl and Babaloo. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Crafty Paws with our dogs. And I'm putting those 2 images to create a family portrait there. And then I'm using some cut apart sentiments from that paper stack, and I'm going to kind of stagger them toward the left It says, "Great news, I heart you." And I'm just going to glue these on. I could add a little more dimension if I wanted to with some foam adhesive, but I decided to just keep that simple. And then I decided to add a third that says, "We belong together." And I really like how this came out. It kind of really follows the rule of thirds. And then for the inside sentiment, I used a pale blue puppy pattern paper that I thought was light enough so that I could write in this card, and then use some more of those cut apart sentiments so that the inside reads, "Good times, positively perfect, and you're a treat." Then to add some shine, I added some Ranger glossy accents to the little girl's glasses, and then used a clear Wink of Stella brush to add some shimmer all around the top of that heart frame. And I think that really adds nice finishing touches to the card. Without adding any weight. So if I needed to mail a card like this, it would be really easy. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. Please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment below for your chance to enter into my little Greeting Farm giveaway. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day.